Hello, so this video is going to be a little different. It's actually about the process of making a Battlefield 4 YouTube video. So it starts out with the recording. So this is what both of my screens look like when I'm actually recording. Here you can see I'm on the test zone, and basically on the left hand screen I've got DX Story open and recording. I'm not going to go into setting up DX Story because I don't know enough about it. I've just copied settings that I found online. We've also got Internet Explorer open because that's running Battlelog, and on the main screen I'm playing the game. In the top left you can see DX Story's little interface, and that's telling me what frame rate I'm recording at and what frame rate the game is actually doing. Now it's a bit slow because not only am I running DX Story to record the gameplay footage, I'm also running OBS to record what's happening on the second screen. So I've got two sets of recording software running when I'm doing this. So once I've recorded the footage, it then needs to be imported into my video editing software, which is Corel Video Studio 7. Now it's very rare you're just going to put up raw footage. So what I tend to do is go through the footage quickly, scanning it, finding the bits that I want, and then I'll edit those out. So the video you're seeing me editing is actually a bit of a preview of Ultimate Recon assignment that's coming up. So I'm looking for the shots that I want, which is mainly sniper rifle kills in this one. So my sniping's not good, so I have to do a lot of hunting around. So here I've got a kill, so I scan through a bit more finely using the fine editor, find the start of the clip that I want, then cut it, delete the bits that I don't want, then go back and find the end of the clip that I want, and then I'll cut that out. Once I've got that, well, that's one little section. So what I'm doing is taking an entire round and reducing it to a set of clips, and then what I do is put a little red section in between each clip, and that's because I edit the rounds individually. So rather than importing all the rounds, finding all the clips I want, and then trying to make one video out of the massive amount of stuff, I process each round individually, mark each clip with a little red divider. And that's because what I'm now going to do is save this video out, so that instead of having massive long rounds, I just have the little clips that I want in individual video files. They're much smaller to store on the hard drive, and they're also easier for the video software to process when you reload them back in, because you don't have 250 gigabytes of video clips open, you just have small video files. So now I'm going to look at putting together a video for upload, and here I've got the standard Battlefield intro. So if I scan through that, you can see that's just a file that's already prepared on my hard drive. And what I'm going to look at is doing the best guns without DLC video. So here you can see the graphic I used at the start. Just drag that in, and then I'll put in a transition. Now I only use 3 different transitions. No transition at all, a fade in, fade out, or a fade to black. This software has hundreds of different transitions, but they're all a bit fiddly and fancy, and I just like to keep it plain and simple. So the next thing I'm going to do is put on the comment that inspired the video as an overlay. So you simply drag that on, adjust it to what length you need, and then you can reposition it by just simply dragging it, making it bigger, making it smaller, putting it somewhere different on the screen. So most of my video editing is very simple. I just use the features that the software has, and I don't go for anything over complicated like fancy transitions or fancy effects. So now what I need to do is import some of the video clips. Now each of these individual clips was quite small because I had to exit the test range to reset the wall that I was shooting against. So I have a bunch of small clips, one for each gun. So this clip is me test firing the M416 against the wall, and I'll have a quick scan through it to make sure it's the clip that I think it is, and then do a bit of trimming. So I'll trim off the start because I don't really need to see me running to where I was doing the test firing. So I'll trim that off and then do the same to the end. Basically just neaten up the clips because you don't want them to be overly long if you can avoid it. So I'll pull it to where I'm looking at the wall and then trim the end off as well. It's something I didn't do enough early on, was actually shorten the clips so that they actually only show what you need to show. Then I'll stick a transition in. So this time I'll put in the fade in, just so you can see what that's like. So it simply just fades between one clip and the other. And then all I do is repeat that for the other clips. So we've got the clip of the gun in the loadout, and then we've got the clip of the gun being tested. So here you can see we've got the whole video loaded in. Now the purple bar is the narration and the blue bar is the background music. I don't record the narration separately, I record it within the video software, so I don't have to import any files, it does it all automatically. I just place it where I want it to, start talking, and then hit space to stop. And it's the same for the music. I don't use any external programs to edit the music or trim music, I just use the features that are in the video software. It handles trimming, fading in, fading out, repeating, doing little loops and putting on effects. Once you've got the videos, the narration and the music, it's time to render. And I use a very simple rendering format. I've taken one of the standard output formats that the software has and slightly altered it, and then called it YouTube. So my YouTube footage is all 30 frames per second, it's 1920 by 1080 and it's processed at 15K and it's in stereo. So all I do is render my videos slightly higher than YouTube is going to use, and then YouTube can scale them down. There's no point going for ultra quality settings because YouTube just will remove all that quality. It also increases the rendering time, and it does take a long time to render a complicated video. So if you've got a lot of video clips with a lot of transitions, narration and music, it does take longer. This is speeded up 10 times and you can see that it's going to take a while. But with the wonders of video editing, we can jump to the end. Of course it would be even longer if I was rendering in 60 frames per second, but most of my videos go up in 30. Occasionally I'll do 60 for something a bit special. So once the video's been done, I'll then go and have a look at it, check it out in Windows Media Player. Don't watch the whole thing, basically all I'm doing is skipping through the video to make sure that the quality's okay. Just making sure that the renderer has done its work. I've never had a video render wrong, but I always go through and check. So in all, up to this point, we're looking at about 3 hours work. There's recording, then there's editing, and then there's rendering. All that's left to do is now stick it on YouTube. So open up Internet Explorer, go to YouTube, and simply hit the upload button. Now I'm going to upload this as private because this is a video that's already up. I'm just doing it again to show you. In fact, I'm not even going to go through the whole of the upload process. So simply find the video clip, which in this case is stuck in working, usually goes into a file called published videos split up into sections, and then you get this page, which is the uploader. And it's simply a question of filling in the text boxes. So titles, descriptions. The only slightly tricky thing is tags. So this is the video's metadata and it's part of what YouTube uses for searching and ranking. So basically all I do is go through, put things like Blindman, Battlefield 4, BF4, roughly what the video is and what guns are in the video, that kind of stuff. It's basically just if somebody wants to go and search for best guns in Battlefield 4, it will come up in those tags. The thumbnails for the video I always actually create separately and then upload. YouTube will offer you some suggestions when the video has been processed, but they're all awful, so it's always best just to make your own thumbnail. And once that's uploaded, there's really only one other thing to take a look at, and that's monetization. Because YouTube's been a bit tricksy in monetization and I'm not sure why. So if we go and look at the options, you'll see unskippable videos is ticked. It never used to be, but it is now. But I always turn it off because I hate unskippable ads at the start of videos. So the only options I do are the overlays and the skippable video adverts. Occasionally an unskippable one may slip through, but it's only by accident because I've forgotten to change that. Advanced settings, I don't change anything. Once you've set those up, it basically just uses the same ones every time. And that's it. You'd then save those options and the video would then upload and process. But for this one, I'm just going to cancel it. So that's how a video gets from gameplay all the way through to YouTube. So from the start of editing to the video being available on YouTube takes between about 4 and 6 hours. A lot of that is rendering and processing time, but there's quite a lot of editing there as well. Gameplay wise, you can be looking at up to 12 hours for some of the longer, more involved videos. I'm by no means an expert at this. If you want technical help, then the best thing to do is use some of the guide videos on YouTube. That's what I did. But this should hopefully give you a rough idea of what's involved in creating videos. Thanks for watching.